So you decided against semi-automatics and you went with the revolver instead. Enter in one of the cheaper revolvers on the market right now, the Smith and Wesson M&P Bodyguard 38 Special. It's a J-frame revolver. It's pretty much all aluminum frame, and it also has a bunch of polymer going on with it. Like that right there, it's all gonna be plastic, plastic, plastic. Two different things about that. It makes it a lot lighter weight, so there's a positive on that. However, makes me a little iffy about the hole and chart firearm, you know? In terms of size-wise, this is probably one of the smaller revolvers on the market right now too. It's 6.6 inches long. Height-wise, it's gonna be roughly about 4.4 inches, so it definitely fits inside your pocket. Width-wise, it's 1.36, so it's gonna be a lot thicker than all the other micro compacts out there currently on the market. However, it's still gonna be nice and small, so you can actually comfortably carry this thing inside your pocket or even on your waistband if you wanted to. This thing only weighs a whopping 14 ounces. It has a 5-round capacity, 1.8-inch stainless steel barrel, so you don't really have to worry about that explosion too much, even though it is an aluminum framed firearm. It is chambered in 38 Special, and it is rated for plus P, so you can actually have a little bit of a hotter load. Although 38 Special is known to be a little bit weaker than a lot of different calibers, it's still a great little tiny pocket carry gun. In terms of the action, it's going to be double action only, and this thing is going to be a whopping 10 pounds on that trigger pull. So if you're having a hard time racking a 12-pound slide and shooting at roughly about 4 pounds on that trigger pull, this thing might be an issue for you. Now, in terms of loading, you can make the loading a little bit faster by having one of these speed loaders. However, you can manually load it yourself if you wanted to as well. In terms of the sights, they're very, very, very shallow. However, still going to be very accurate. A little bit hard to do, but you can still get it on paper, no problem. Now, dumping it. Opening up that cylinder allows you to pretty much use that plunger and then just dump everything out normally, so you don't have to worry about it getting stuck in there too much. If you need a little bit more force, use your other hand, just smack it down a couple times, you'll be fine. Definitely doesn't really hurt too bad as long as you're not doing it abruptly. Now, other ways to load this bad boy, you do have your little speed strips like this. All you really got to do is bring it in, pry it out, bring it in, pry it out, and bring it in, pry it out. It is my preferred way to kind of carry things around if it is going to be like a concealed carry firearm. However, I don't really carry this thing around too often, but with these speed strips, they're going to be a lot thinner in profile than, say, a speed loader like this one. Now, it's no secret that I don't really care for revolvers too much in terms of self-defense. However, they are still great options out there if that's all you really have. Now, with a revolver, they can be extremely concealable. This one is on my appendix right now, so it does blend in pretty well. In terms of finding a holster, they're generally sized up to be J frames, K frames, L frames, or whatever, okay? So just find the one that kind of suits you, and just be careful of the way you kind of hold these things. So just be aware of where you're actually holding your hand, otherwise you could do a lot of permanent damage. Now, the advantage of those speed strips are that it can pretty much be a lot flatter towards your body, but the only thing about the speed strips is it takes a little bit longer to actually load things up, you know? Now, if we're talking about the speed loaders, they are a lot faster. They are bulkier though, so that's the only main thing that you actually have to worry about these things. Now, there's not too many advantages between the revolvers and the semi-automatics. So in this case, I'm just going to compare the two most commonly used calibers and commonly used types of firearms. I have a micro compact 6-hour 365 XL and also the Smith and Wesson Bodyguard 38, okay? The Smith and Wesson Bodyguard 38 only fires 38 Special. It'll fire 38 Special and 38 Special plus P. So even with the plus P rating, you're looking at about 270 foot-pounds of force. However, with the 9mm, you're dealing with 390 foot-pounds of force. You're also gonna have a higher capacity with 9mm, sort of like this, but the main disadvantage that you're gonna have with a revolver versus a semi-automatic its capacity. I have 15 rounds in this one. I'm just going to pace it out just right, and we'll compare the two videos together, okay? And that's 15 rounds, roughly around the same pacing. Still takes a little bit longer to actually complete. All in all, it's not a bad gun. It's cheap, it's affordable, it sits at roughly about 430 bucks. On sale, sometimes you can see these things for about 380 bucks or 350 bucks. The pros of these things, okay? It's small, it's lightweight, it's concealable, it can fire with obstructions, meaning that you can actually push up against something, and it's simple on the operation. So if you don't feel like pretty much learning how to use the semi-automatic, all you really got to do is pull that trigger over and over again, okay? Up until you elapse your 5 rounds of ammunition. Now, the cons of this thing, obviously the 5 round capacity is going to be awful. It has relatively a snappy recoil as compared to like a 9mm semi-automatic nowadays, and it also has fairly small stopping power. It has a heavy trigger pull at like 10 pounds, so that's going to be rough. So if you went with the revolver because you couldn't rack the slide, you can definitely rack the slide, okay? Just imagine having to pull that 10-pound trigger 5 times versus having to rack the slide on a semi-automatic 1 time. This grip is going to be small and uncomfortable as well, as opposed to like K-frame revolvers or fuller size revolvers. But in general, as a backup gun or even as a gun that's sort of a throwaway that you don't care about, it's a fantastic buy, you know, 430 buckaroos. You don't have to worry about it too much. Now, if you made it to the end of this video right here, go ahead and visit this website and use this coupon code. You will receive 10% off on all of your products. Like, share, subscribe, and thanks for stopping by.